178 officer in need.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the 1078 Project podcast. Hey, if you're new to the podcast, a little bit about our organization. The 1078 Project is a nonprofit organization that's been founded and developed by law enforcement officers who have been in critical incidents and officer-involved shootings. Our goal here at the 1078 Project is to provide mental health resources, spiritual resources, and practical resources to officers and their families as they navigate the difficult times surrounding an officer-involved shooting or critical incident. In November of 2022, I was involved in an officer-involved shooting, and the days and weeks that followed left me feeling really alone and without assistance. My personal goal and the goal of the 1078 Project is to ensure that no other officer has to have those feelings. With that being said, we're going to dive into today's episode. Our guest today is Will Bates. He was a police officer with St. Louis County for 10 years. He spent 3 years on patrol, took a short pit stop in the neighborhood enforcement team, was a TFO to the DEA, and also was a TFO to the FBI. He's been through so many critical incidents. As a police officer, he's also the founder of Will Be Inspired, which is a nonprofit organization that provides assistance to veterans, soldiers, and first responders, really focused on providing fitness, gym memberships, and some other mental health help to those guys. So let's dive into today's episode, and I'll see you on the other side, boys. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. How you doing today?
I'm good. It's nice to see you again. So I'm super excited to have you on the podcast. I'm super excited for you to talk about your nonprofit and everything that you're doing. And I'm also grateful that, you know, when I first started off, that you answered my phone call and that you were willing to hear me out and kind of help walk me through a couple of things. So
absolutely.
We'll kind of just I know you're on a time crunch, so we'll jump into, what drew you into law enforcement, and we'll kind of move through your career from there. Okay.
Yeah, what first got me interested in it was my father. He was in law enforcement. He did 15 years with the Highway State Patrol, and then he did some time with O'Fallon, a local police department here as well. I think he did about 5 or 6 years with O'Fallon. So that always, growing up, watching him, go to hot calls and stuff like that, always kind of piqued my interest. And I knew that I always wanted to kind of get into it and at some time in my life, but after college and stuff, I started getting into the personal training and gym kind of settings for the most part. But yeah, always, growing up, just looking up to my dad, wanting to be kind of like him. Yeah,
what was it like having a dad for a cop?
It was cool. I mean, he wasn't. My mom was probably a little more strict than he was.
Really?
But yeah, no. I mean, he taught us right from wrong, and he had a rule. He said, "Hey, if you ever get in trouble, I'll bail you out one time."
Yeah, and that's you get it. One mistake.
But yeah, one mistake, and that's it. But no, I mean, he was good. No issues. I know some, they talk about pastors' kids and law enforcement kids or whatever.
Either turn out real good or you turn out real bad.
Right. Yeah. So he lucked out because me and all my brothers were doing just fine.
Okay. You got a big family. How many brothers you
got? So my dad and mom divorced when I was about 8. And he remarried. I have a brother with that. And then him and my mom had me and my brother Jeffrey. So that's 2 of us. And then she remarried and had 2 brothers and another sister of mine.
So you got a whole gang.
Yep. Yeah, we got them all. I'm the oldest, and the youngest is 16.
Really?
Yep.
That's a pretty wide variety of ages.
Yeah, absolutely.
You said you went to college. Where'd you go to college?
I went to college. I started off at SEMO, went there, and then I ended up going out to a school in Nebraska, University of Nebraska, Kearney.
Okay. Did you play sports or anything? Or
no. So I played basketball growing up, basketball and football. And by the time I got out there, the plan was to play basketball, but didn't really pan out the way the way I thought it would. So I just ended up going to school.
Okay. What'd you go to school for?
First, it was I wanted to be a teacher and a coach, so I went that route. But then I transitioned into sports administration.
Okay.
Yeah. So the dream was to open up a gym, personal training and all that kind of stuff.
You may be able to still.
Right. Absolutely.
You might be able to pull that off.
Yep.
So you graduate college, and just came back to St. Louis, or?
So no, actually, I didn't graduate. my dad ended up getting sick and everything like that, so
Okay.
I ended up cutting college short. I did eventually go back to Lindenwood. I did the LCIE program.
Yeah, I understand that.
But I came back here and just started working, kind of help him out. And I worked at Gold's Gym. I did some private security. I was a bouncer, nightclubs, stuff like that. And
You're built for it.
yeah, yeah. And so, yeah, basically just started working at a college in personal training. I was at Gold's Gym for a little bit. And then I went to Lifetime Fitness out in Ellisville.
Okay.
And I was doing that stuff.
Okay.
And I was there for about a year. After a year, I met a county detective there, or he was a sergeant, I'm sorry, at the time. And he was asking me about had I ever thought about being in law enforcement, and I said, yeah. I said, I'm gonna sign up for St. Louis City at some point. And he was like, he said, why don't you come to the county? He said, so I can get you on at the county. I said, okay. I said, if you can get me on at the county, I said, I'll try it out. And it was like 2-3 months later, and I had a job offer with the county.
You went through St. Louis County's Academy?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what was that like?
It was good. It was good. I mean, it was I know it seems like they try to make it a little bit militarized or whatever. Yeah. Yes, sir. No, sir. I mean, which I liked. Whatever. You're pivoting on corners, and I don't. Where did you go?
Eastern.
You went to Eastern.
Yeah,
but,
same concept.
Yeah. But I mean, it was uniforms had to be neat, and yeah. I mean, it was good. I mean, I liked it. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed my classmates. We had a pretty big class.
What year was that? What year did you
This
get
was
into law enforcement?
2009.
Okay, so law enforcement was super competitive still then.
Yep. Yeah. We had probably like 40 something in my class, and I don't know, probably a year ago, I was asking about one of the classes, like we got 10 people in the class,
dude.
And it just seems like there's not a huge interest in law enforcement.
I wonder
anymore.
why.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Exactly. I wonder why.
100%. But no, I mean. Had a great time at the county. I started off in the first precinct. I was there for, I want to say, a year and a half before we took over Jennings. Then I went over to handle our Jennings detail.
For people that aren't familiar with the first precinct, what area?
So North St. Louis County area, the unincorporated parts of North St. Louis County.
What was that like?
It was, I tell people all the time, if you want a wide variety or wide range of calls and things to handle, you got to start off in the first precinct because, I mean, you'll get some of everything there. I mean, shootings, robberies, burglaries, I mean, your homicides, just pretty much everything you can handle. I mean, some of them, you might handle all of them in one day.
Did you remember when you got out of the academy, do you remember your first hot call, like the first call that you went on that was kind of like, okay, I'm the real police now?
My first hot call coming out of the academy, I want to say it was a robbery. Yeah, I want to say it was a robbery from one of the local businesses.
Yeah.
That and when you're new, your field training instructor tries to get you to all the hot calls. So if something that alert tone comes off, pretty much you or whoever else is new is fighting over who gets there and stuff like that. So I want to say it was a robbery, an armed robbery. Okay.
What was field training like? Did they run it like most police departments? It was like a 3-stage process, or?
So it was, 12 weeks, I want to say. So I start off with my initial field trainer. Then after about, 6-7 weeks or so with him, I got an alternate field trainer. It was in a different area in the county. So the first one we were in the Castle Point type area, neighborhood and stuff like that. So then after I transitioned from him, we went out towards north, kind of like Vale, Halls Ferry, that type area, which was a little bit slower, but still active. And then I went back to my initial trainer to finish out.
Okay, so was it like that for everybody? Was it like you see your field trainer back at the very end again? Because I've heard other police departments that do that. That you start with the guy, and then he sees you at the very end to see your progression.
When I was coming through, that's what it seemed like the common practice was. But now, or even after I got off training and stuff like that, it seemed like they were trying to get people experience in different areas. So you might have somebody come to First Precinct from West County or vice versa, or whatever. They tried swapping them different precincts or whatever to kind of get them, a little bit more.
So your field trainer would be assigned. That would like the field trainer that worked Castle Point. That's his assigned area, and he stays there.
Exactly.
Is it a bid process? Do they do like a bid process where, like you I don't know if you have a certain amount of seniority, you can bid for West County.
Not necessarily. You mean to get just a precinct or a beat within a precinct?
Like a beat within a precinct.
Oh, no, it wasn't not a bidding thing. From what I just remember when I got off field training, I had Glasgow Village area or whatever, and it wasn't really a highly sought after.
Yeah,
so
nobody
wants
to.
This is your permanent beat. So,
yeah.
And some people were more. I don't know. They wanted like, oh, I want this as a permanent beat, and some people really didn't care. I was fine, pretty much riding wherever, but they assigned me that permanent beat, and I was fine with it. But there wasn't, as far as I was aware, there was no like bidding process, nothing like that. Yes, if you had more seniority and more time on or whatever, you probably got your preferences over another guy. But if nobody wants a certain area or anything like that, then it's kind of up to the supervisor's discretion on who gets it.
Now, do you know how big is St. Louis County, their police department? How many officers do they have?
Man, I couldn't. I honestly couldn't even tell you. I want to say when I was there, it was probably around 800 to 900.
Okay.
Yeah, but right now I couldn't even tell you with the resignations, retirements, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I don't know where we are right now.
I think they're pretty low staffed, unfortunately. But most police departments are right now, to be 100% honest. There's just people don't want to be in law enforcement anymore.
No, absolutely.
Which
absolutely.
I can understand. I can understand a certain portion of that if all of society turns their back on you.
Right.
Why would you want to put yourself as a 20-something-year-old man? Why would you choose that profession?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's
committed.
Yeah, there's a lot of good people out here that still sing praises to police and stuff like that, but unfortunately they're not as loud sometimes as the naysayers. So yeah,
whoever yells the loudest gets the most attention.
Right. Exactly. That's what it seems like.
So you come off field training. And you go into Glasgow Village, which for people that aren't familiar with the St. Louis area, it's a pretty rough area.
Yep, correct.
I don't know what the average income is, but it's pretty low. Pretty violent area. What was your thought process as coming off of, how old were you then?
24, 25.
24-year-old man in a car by yourself in Glasgow. What'd you think?
It was definitely eye-opening. I'd never really grown up in that area or around the area and everything like that. So it was an adjustment. But I mean, I never, I guess, I showed respect, and I was shown respect. Yeah. So I never had any real issues, but I mean, the crime was, you had your shootings, a lot of burglaries. You're busy. You're just real busy. And then just being on that, so that whole little area is its own beat, and then you have Spanish Lake right next to it. So if something happens in the lake and you need help over in Glasgow, it could be 5-10 minutes before somebody gets to you over there. Yeah. I remember at one point I had it was a domestic situation, and guys jumped into a car, and I had the car, and they said they had guns and everything like that. So I had a car at gunpoint until I had backup there 7 minutes later.
So the car stayed felony style?
There. Yeah, car stayed there, got everybody out, drawn out, and then was able to kind of clear the car. They had guns and all that stuff, but I mean,
7-minute response time.
And, that feels like a lifetime.
Oh yeah, every minute under stress like that feels like a lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, and there's some good people over there in Glasgow too, and especially some of the older people that didn't care about the crime. They didn't want to move.
It was the house they grew up in.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, it was some good people, but I definitely had some challenging experiences over that way.
I wonder. I've always wondered from your position, being black and then being a police officer and also working in a predominantly African American area.
Yeah.
Did you get it harder or worse than
dudes
around you?
No.
Or was it easier to gain respect that way?
I wouldn't say it was necessarily easier. Sometimes people felt, or they would say they felt more comfortable talking with me, felt like they could relate to me more just because of skin color, which, it is what it is. But, people would seem to treat me with a decent amount of respect. I never really had too many issues with that until like Ferguson happened.
I was about to say, I was literally going to bring that up because
So
I remember
in Ferguson,
working that.
there was a lot of, Trader, Uncle Tom's, this, that, and all that kind of stuff.
The dudes on the line that were not white got it the worst, man.
Yep. So that was probably the first time where it really, worked against me, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember being on the line and the guy next to me was, I was working from a different perspective. Wasn't working like on the line, like a cop. I was doing different things then, but, and they were just on them, man.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
On them, just woo.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they had. Then they had just different militant groups and stuff like that. They would come out and, they want, like, hey, you should be on our side. You're a traitor, this, that, but then, in the same breath, they'll say we don't have enough black police officers, or we don't have enough black this, black that. So it's double-edged, I guess.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose for us.
So,
so you are working at St. Louis County. How long were you in Glasgow for?
Glasgow for, I want to say, probably about a year or so. Yeah, okay. Probably about a year, and then we took over Jennings, or we started doing the police services for the city of Jennings, and that's when I moved over to Jennings, and I was at Jennings for about a year or so.
Okay.
Yeah. So
pretty similar dynamic to Glasgow.
For the most part, just North County in general.
Yeah.
You have your busy areas and your areas that aren't as busy, but the city of Jennings, I believe, is like 3.3 square miles. So you can get anywhere you need to get to pretty quick.
Was it a contracted position at that point? So the city was paying St. Louis County
for police services and everything.
3-point-something miles, and just one dude working that 3-point-something.
No, we had four. They had 4 separate beats.
4 separate beats.
They had 4 beats. Yep.
I didn't know that. That's pretty insane.
4 beats. So, and they expected all those to be full. So, every shift is supposed to have 4 beats. Yep.
Okay. I'm guessing that working in St. Louis County, what do you think the average, like, your major crimes, your robberies, your homicides, your burglaries, how often were you dealing with those things on like a regular basis? Like in a month, how many times you go into a robbery?
In a month, a robbery, like a real robbery?
Yeah, like not a dope rip, like a real robbery. Because I'm sure you're getting dope rips all the time. But
yeah, maybe a couple times a month. Okay. Your hot calls were like drug stuff, domestics were a lot of the calls, burglaries. But as far as like your robberies, I'll probably say maybe, me personally, it'd probably be about twice a month or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. What was your goals and aspirations? Like, what did you want to do? When you started at St. Louis County, what did you want to do?
Initially, when I started, I wanted to be on the SWAT team. I wanted to be on tactical operations. And then, once I kind of saw how everything moved, I felt like I would gel best with the Narcotics Drug Enforcement Bureau. So then that became the goal.
Was that kind of like your primary focus for you personally, like working on a regular basis? Like any self-initiated activity, was it focused towards drugs?
Not necessarily. It just kind of depended on what we were having issues with, I guess, at the time. If it was, people coming in to buy drugs or people trafficking drugs in the area, then that was it. If it was, car break-ins or, burglaries and stuff like that, that would be it. But I never really, if I saw something that looked suspicious, like a drugs transaction or something like that, then I would kind of hone in on it if it was a self-initiated. Yeah, absolutely.
How long did it take you to get into narcotics?
3 years.
Okay, so you spent about. Did you spend the remainder of your time at Jennings?
No. So then I spent a short amount of time in Jennings, but then I went north. First Precinct had a enforcement team, neighborhood enforcement team. So it's basically a specialized group to kind of get out there, and we weren't radio responsive, so we were able to kind of do more self-initiated stuff, kind of do a little bit more surveillance stuff, and
problem solvers.
Yep, absolutely. So I worked that for about 6 months, and then I went into the Drug Enforcement Bureau. Yep.
Okay. How big was your team? The little jump out team you guys had?
I want to say about seven
Okay.
people. Yep.
So 7 guys, and I'm guessing it was kind of like, hey, we're having problems with, and we've had 6 burglaries in this area over the last 3 months. Can you guys?
Yeah, or different like hot spots in the area where, heavy drug sale areas, or like I said before, like the burglaries and stuff like that. Just kind of whatever the precinct was struggling with at the time, we would try to combat that.
Okay. Just be tasked with it. Deal with this.
Exactly.
Find out who's doing it. Cool. So you, how long did you spend there?
Probably about 6 months.
Okay. So 6 months there, and then you move over to narcotics. What was that like?
Yep, it was different. It was different. No, I liked it. Worked with some great people. Very, very fast paced. It's pretty dangerous or whatever. I mean, you're running and gunning and stuff like that. If you want to say, was involved. Had different shooting incidents that we'd be involved in. Undercover drug transactions. We would go after homicide suspects. Really.
Did you guys have designated roles? Did you have guys that were like more like street team guys or investigators, and then guys that were like strictly doing buys and stuff?
I mean, yeah, you had your guys that pretty much strictly did undercover work, but everybody pretty much did the work. Even some of the undercover guys would, do takedowns sometimes. It just kind of depend on what the situation was.
Then what was kind of your role in that whole thing?
Enforcement,
okay,
like takedowns.
Okay,
investigations.
So you got the best of both worlds. You got to be in the drug world, but also get to do all the tactical stuff that you've been wanting to do.
Absolutely. So, no, it was good. Just tight knit group of guys, good guys. People you could trust with watching your back. Before I got into the unit, I did a ride along with them probably a year prior, and basically kind of just showing me how they operate and everything like that. And we did a jump out after a drug transaction. Then I ended up getting hit by a vehicle at that point in time. Someone who was trying to, didn't want to be arrested.
Yeah, wanted to get away.
Whatever, but then he ran me down, got pinned between a couple cars, and it was a different experience.
Okay. So you weren't even in the unit at that point?
I wasn't even in the unit at that point.
You just decided to do a ride along one day?
It was my first day riding along with him. Yep.
Really?
Yep. So ended up going to the hospital, but everything was good. Nothing really broken. Whatever, had some strains and tears and stuff like that, but it was being on the hood of a car was different.
Yeah. So were you guys vehicle assaulting, I'm guessing?
We really, pretty much, there were 2 different vehicles involved, and so I was at one vehicle trying to get the guy out, and the other vehicle came from the back of the parking lot and slammed into me.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so you're focused here, and the car coming from a different direction.
Yep.
Alrighty. You said you were stuck in between 2, what did you just say?
Two cars.
Really?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that why the car stopped?
Yeah.
Because it hit another car?
Yeah, because it hit me in the other car, and it was, But it was still had its tires revving and stuff like that, but it couldn't get through. Yeah, me in the other car. Yep.
And what happened from that point?
That point, he, the team was able to take him down or whatever, and then I got free.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like physically take him down? You guys were involved in a shooting, or?
Yeah, we're involved in the shooting.
Okay.
Yep. But yeah. But yeah, still here, so I'm thankful for that. But that was my first introduction to the narcotics world and plain clothes and stuff like that. But I liked it. I loved it. We were pretty much did the same role up until like Ferguson. Then role kind of changed or whatever. We kind of helped out a lot with arrests and stuff like that during that period of time. And yeah.
Did you just move away from more productive, like being proactive and kind of, because it seemed like it seems like most police departments after, especially in this area, after Ferguson kind of pulled back on productivity and focused more on violent crimes and stuff. Like that.
I will say that it seems like there was it didn't seem like they wanted as much self-initiated stuff. But I mean, even to this day, the guys are really out there pumping, like working and stuff like that. It's just, policing looks different nowadays for everybody. But I mean, you still have your hard workers and you have your guys that don't want to do a whole lot. But I mean, in that group is, everybody's pretty much a hard charger.
Yeah. How big is it? How big is that group?
The whole unit in general, I want to say probably like 50 people.
Okay,
in
so
general, but
that's pretty big.
Then broken into separate groups and stuff like that. So, yeah,
that's pretty big. 50 people is pretty big. Let's go back to the critical incident. So you're riding on the top of the hood of this car.
Yeah, well,
I'm get smashed into another car, and that car comes to a stop.
Yep.
Okay. Your boys all take care of business.
Yep.
And you're transported to the hospital.
Yes, absolutely.
And you said nothing was broken or anything like that.
No
real bones, no severe injuries.
Strains, and had some issues with my back and everything like that. But went through physical therapy, and I was able to get that pretty knocked out.
Were you out on light duty or anything for?
Oh yeah. I was out for, I want to say 3 months or so.
Okay.
Yep.
Mentally, what was it like going back to work after something like that?
It was I was fine for the most part. There for a couple of days or whatever, it was kind of, it was like, thank God, and, praying and stuff like that. And, but I wasn't too bad. They make you see Santa Claus or the shrink.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, they make you see the shrink and everything before you go back and all that. And, he talks with you about everything. But really, it didn't, I don't know, it was just kind of a surreal experience, really. It really didn't hit me that, I could have died or, something. But I don't know. It was, I was fine going back to work. I was a little more vigilant, especially around cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's definitely, like I said, eye-opening. Yeah. And I'd been in, other, shooting incidents and stuff like that with some of my guys where they were, shooting or we were getting shot at. There were a couple times we were pinned down by gunfire. And, late at night, whatever, we couldn't see where it's coming from. So we're sitting here looking for muzzle flashes to see where.
Is this while you're working on patrol or while you're working in?
In the unit when I'm a detective. Yep. Okay. Yep. So.
What's the backstory to that one?
Well, one was during the stuff, in Ferguson and everything like that. There's one point in time we come down the road, they start wheeling dumpsters out into the street to kind of block it off and everything like that. So we get out to
protesters. You're saying?
Yeah. So we get out to start making arrests and things like that, or kind of seeing what's going on, and then just shots start coming our direction. There used to be a video on YouTube. One of the reporters was pinned down with us, or whatever, and he was still rolling, and we were just taking shots. We were all behind like a van or whatever, and trying to see where it's coming from, just taking shot after shot after shot,
really,
until they ran out. Yeah,
that seems like that'd be a pretty difficult one to deal with. Not really knowing where it's coming from.
It was. Yeah, yep, definitely. We had a guy with us who'd been in the military and everything, and when it's that close to you, whatever, you kind of hear it, but you're not sure what it is at first. And he's like, "Oh, they're shooting." Then you can kind of hear glass breaking and stuff like that. But yeah,
was this like Ferguson 1?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the original.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
There was all kinds of crazy stuff happening in that first.
I was there for all of it. So, but that's for the first part of everything. But yeah, no. Involved in several critical incidents. Even I've been caught in the middle of rival gang shootouts while being on surveillance. Had my car shot up. I've had, gun battles with protest situations or whatever. Guy hops out with AK-47 and just battling it out. But I'd probably say I've been involved in probably like 6, 7
really
incidents where gunfire was exchanged or taken or something like that. But no, I mean, I kept a cool head, and almost like you kind of become numb to it, especially before kids. But then after you have kids, you kind of think about things differently and stuff like that. And, with the last couple, I'd say I started thinking to myself, for one, I'm grateful. God, saw me through a lot of it. But then it's like, what my legacy might be, or what else have I done with my life, or if I were to die today, what would people say about me?
Yeah.
And then that's kind of when Will Be Inspired came up to try and help other people. And that's why I kind of started that back in 2021. Initially, it was just going to be a pay it forward to military veteran to thank you for your service. And because with me, what helped me in all those times were when I was stressed out or feeling down and everything like that, I went to the gym, worked out. So I'm like, if it works for me, maybe it could work for somebody else, or, give a veteran, a hand up, get them started in the gym or something like that. So I put it out on social media, and I didn't get a whole lot of response from people wanting it, but I got a lot of response from people like wanting to help and stuff like that. And so I had one guy reach out to me, and he said, hey, if you get one, I'll match you so you can get 2. So I said, okay. So I went to the local Anytime Fitness, right around the corner from where I live. And the guy there, I was like, hey, the manager or the guy who operated the gym, I was like, hey, any veterans that could use this, or, having a rough time or whatever, just kind of like a thank you for your service. And he's like, yeah, I got a couple guys. So we get those guys taken care of. We get them a year paid in full gym membership to the gym. And then he says, well, I know some other people too. I was like, okay. And I was like, in my head, I was like, man, well, how do you just stop at 2? So I just, I got on social media. I was like, hey, I got these 2 memberships. I said, but I'm willing to, keep doing this if you guys, as long as people donate, and as long as you guys want to, keep helping out our veterans and stuff. And then money just started kind of flooding in. Then it turned into, I incorporated law enforcement. Then I just said veterans and first responders, because my buddy runs a nonprofit out in Colorado called Revital, and they do all first responder, fire, police, EMT, and being on the police side of things, I never really knew what some of the fire guys kind of had to go through in their lives, and some of the things that they've seen and been through as well, which is, can be equally traumatic. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's get some, firefighters taken care of and stuff too. So start off with gym memberships. Then I got some mental health counselors on board. With the new technologies coming out, I have people that I can refer to for EDMR, for brain balancing, things of that nature, advanced resolution therapy. We've done retreats. My buddy has a place out in Colorado, whatever, like a ranch type place. Yeah. We've taken some people out there for retreats, and then they also do a wellness conference out there. And I've taken a lot of, like this past year, we took the St. Louis City police officers who stopped the gunman at, 2 years ago, that was at the school. We took about 5 of those guys and their wives and stuff out there, little time just to kind of decompress.
What is that conference kind of, or what does that retreat consist of?
It's called the Level Up Wellness Conference in Denver, Colorado.
Is that part of the Revival guys?
Revital, yep. So it's put on by Revital. It's a calling. And probably 3 or 4 other foundations, whatever, they kind of come out in Colorado. They have it put together pretty well. Yeah. They all come together and put this conference on, and they have different speakers, people that have been involved in shootings, just other traumatic incidents. They have doctors that'll come up and talk about how to deal with mental stress and depression and PTSD, things like that. They even have what is it? They're not doctors, but they have people who can kind of come up and talk about like blood work or whatever. And there's certain blood markers that can kind of tell, like, hey, I can tell if you're going to have a heart attack in the next, year or something like that. Or, I mean, it's pretty interesting all this stuff. And then they have nutritionists. Then they have, wives that talk about, what the wife side is of things of being with a, police officer and stuff like that. So it's very beneficial. And the cool thing I get to see is, the people that I bring up from St. Louis connecting with other people who might have their same story. Yeah. So, that's pretty cool. We've been there 2 years in a row now doing that. I do a golf tournament, annual golf tournament every year. And this past year, or in November of 2023, we did a gala to raise money. For the cause. So, no, everything's going good. I think we're at like 72, 73 memberships now for military veterans and first responders. A lot of other people have gotten some good help from the mental health counselors. I have a guy.
Are they local counselors that you're using?
Yep. One's in Clayton and one's in the St. Charles area. I now have a guy who, because, every once in a while I put out questionnaires like, hey, what's one thing that, you guys could really use help with? And one thing was some people have been having issues with the VA, getting certain benefits and filling out the paperwork. So I have a guy now who will not only help them fill out paperwork, but he'll stay with them throughout the whole process. I have a guy now who I just brought on. He used to be the nutritionist, the director of nutrition for the Denver Broncos, Colorado Avalanche, the Rockies, and he's worked with multiple other sports teams. Now he's working with me too, so we'll get blood work done. I have a couple clinics here that, military veterans, first responders, if you want to get your blood work done, you can hit me up and I can send you one of these clinics, just see where your markers are, see, if you are where you need to be overall health-wise. And I can send, or they can send their blood work to this guy, and he can kind of go over everything with you and just kind of provides you with information that might help you to lead a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah, I love it, dude. Yep. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, staying busy with that, but, the catalyst for it was, the incidents that I've been through myself, because I know, some of the military veteran guys go through a lot worse than I've been through, and then even some first responders, whatever, have been through some of my incidents, and like I said, worse or whatever. And
I guess my question to you too is, did you feel like there was any? So when you were going through all these things, you'd been through multiple shooting incidents, injured, and everything. Was there any organizations that were like reaching out to you or trying to help out, or was it kind of just because that was what caught me by surprise, man? Is like. If you die in the line of duty, there's a bunch of organizations that are going to come help. And that's great. That's fantastic. I love it. Thank you so much. Like, I'm happy that my family would be taken care of and everything else. But what about, like, the guys that don't die? You know what I mean? Like, you've been through all of these things, man. You hear counselors or therapists talk about it all the time. It's like, every time you go through one of these traumatic incidents, it's flicking another pebble in the bucket, right? And eventually that bucket gets full, and that bucket gets really heavy, and then eventually it overflows unless you're doing things to take care of yourself. So like, unless you're going to the gym or, you're got a counselor that you see, and the numbers are crazy. Like a normal person experiences like 5 traumatic things in their entire life, and a police officer experiences upwards of 700 is like the number that they always use. So
absolutely,
it was just weird to me that when you go through one of these things, that there was nobody on the opposite side of it to say, hey man, like, let's get you a counselor. Let's get your blood work done. Let's get you a gym membership. That's something that I think is awesome. We started working with Integrity Fitness. I don't know if you know who they are, but
I've heard of them. It's over there off of in Winghaven.
So John, one of the owners there, he's a former police officer.
Okay, nice.
I actually worked with him. So we started working with Integrity Fitness. So it's like something that we do now, as well as provide like some type of that gym's like really big into like nutrition and gut health and personal training. So they're now offering those services to guys during that time off because most of the time you get like that 3 to 4 weeks off of work. And like, you don't ever have 3 or 4 weeks off in your entire life, you know, as an adult, like you got to get back to work and do your things. But that 3 to 4 week period, like invest in yourself during that time, you know? But there was nobody there.
No.
There was like nobody on the opposite side, like pushing and guiding you, you know, like,
I don't know about your incident, but you know, with mine or whatever, it's pretty much, you know, you go out drinking.
Yeah, that's
you know, you get with the guys and you go out drinking, you know, kind of, you know, self-medicate or whatever you want to call it or whatever.
It's like there's a peer-to-peer aspect to that, like being around the boys and talking about the incident and kind of decompressing. Exactly. But you know,
at the same time, it's
law enforcement, dude. It's normally you're having those conversations over alcohol, which.
And that's what, you know, to go back to your point of, you know, there's a lot of organizations for, you know, if you were to die and everything. And that was one of my things with my organization was like, you know, I want to take care of the people that are still here.
Yeah, me too.
One of the guys we took care of, well, he died in the line of duty a couple years back. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to, you know, take care of him, but we got memberships for his family and his kids, and
that's awesome.
We've been able to, like this past December, I put out a post looking to sponsor a family for Christmas, and there was a family who just recently lost their veteran. He took his own life November 30th, and right before Christmas. So we were able to cover all the Christmas gifts for the kids and everything like that. So, I mean, it doesn't replace, you know, what they lost, but it's just a gesture, you know, we appreciate what your dad did for this country, and sorry for what you had to go through.
Have you found doing this, it's been therapeutic for all the things that you've been through?
Absolutely, 100%. That's why sometimes I say I feel like it fills my cup, if you will.
Yeah,
it just makes me feel better, makes me feel like I'm actually making a difference, because, you know, you can go arrest somebody today or whatever, and he may be back out on the street tomorrow, and you really don't feel like you really, you know, sometimes it's a revolving door, but here, you know, I can see the impact that it's making on people. I can see people paying it forward to other people, and the ripple effect in it is just amazing. You know, something that just started out small with a couple of gym memberships. Now, you know, I'm partnering with other people, and have people that I know that are starting their own thing that, you know, kind of ask me for tips and everything like that. So, it's
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Not just you, just, you know, a lot of people in general. And it's very rewarding to see it. And then just even people reach out to me and say, hey, you know, this really helped me out. I was in a dark place. Some people that I didn't know how, you know, how depressed they were or whatever. It's like, hey, I was at the end of my rope before you came. And, you know, I got a lot of people that support and, you know, donate and everything like that and share my stuff or whatever, and, you know, really makes a difference in these people's lives. Just know that, you know, someone cares about them. A lot of my military guys will say, you know, in the military you have all these services, and you know, you can go here for this, here for that, but once you get out, there's no real transition. There's nothing really kind of set up. You're kind of on your own. So, and I've worked with a group called Defenders Gateway that's out here, and they have an app that kind of, for military veterans, whatever, you can kind of see what different services or discounts and stuff like that they have for military veterans in your area. So I thought that was a cool idea.
What was the name of it again?
Defenders Gateway.
Defenders Gateway.
Yep.
All right, I just want to make sure we got the name really clear. So
Defenders Gateway. Yep, absolutely.
I heard you talk a couple times throughout this about like how you know, after your first incident, you prayed a lot. Has God always been like a part of your life? Or?
Oh yeah, always. I mean, my mom was heavy on that with us as kids, and I'm grateful for it. But you know, even like all the operations I would go on, I would pray, you know, Psalms 91, a protection verse over me and everything. That's something my mom she would always pray it for me, and you know, pray it with me and stuff like that. And so that's probably my biggest verse there. And then, but yeah, I've always been, you know, I felt like religious, you know, as good as I can be.
None of us are
always
perfect,
had a belief in God, and I've always known that it's God that's seen me through all these incidents. Without Him, I wouldn't have, probably made it as far as I have now. But no, I mean, it's something I've been really big on.
Yeah, it's been a big thing for us too. It's been, 1078 is like a God-inspired, operation, and it's like we get to be the hands and feet of God, and I feel like the same way for We'll Be Inspired is like that giving and that feeling of like I'm giving back and like this means something. And you said something earlier that I think I can really, it hits home for me is like, what's my legacy? Like you go through like one of these near-death experiences, and you're like, well, who am I? Who truly am I? Who am I really? Like if I were to die today, what would my friends say about me?
Exactly.
What would my peers say? The guys that I work with, what would they say about me? And what would my wife and my kids say about me? And like, for me, it was kind of like a kick in the butt. Not only did I feel like, hey, there wasn't any resources out there for me. I just didn't. There wasn't a single organization that reached out to me. That's why 1078 takes such like a proactive approach. Like we want to be in front of those dudes like real quickly, just so they feel that support and that overwhelming support. But it was also like, this is our way of like giving back and serving and like for God to be
100%.
Served through this whole process as well. So
and it's like you said, it's therapeutic for you too. Like you can
100%.
help somebody that's been through, your situation and everything like that, and you can be that resource for somebody that, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't help but notice you're jacked out of your mind. So
work out occasionally.
Yeah. So fitness, how big of a role has fitness played in not just your mental health, but you as a person? How big of is fitness?
I've always been in the fitness, whatever, growing up playing sports and everything. And once the sports were over, I found the gym. I really looked up to like Ronnie Coleman and some of them guys
Lightweight,
or whatever.
baby.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So me and my buddy would be screaming that, and we'd be probably 190 pounds starting out. But no, I've always been interested in and wanting to stay active and everything. And I would say starting from when I was 21, really getting involved with the weights and everything. And even more recently, I've been competing in bodybuilding competitions. I've done 2 so far, looking at doing a 3rd. But prior to police work, I was a personal trainer, worked in different gyms and everything. And I just loved the whole atmosphere, just people getting better, working on themselves, and encouraging other people to get better as well. So I just always like seeing what I'm capable of, in any aspect of life. I don't want to, say that I didn't give it my all, or didn't try for this or that. And when I had the capabilities to, when there's so many people who don't have, or who can't do, weren't blessed to be able to walk or lift weights or do stuff like that. I want to make the most of what God gave me.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know, you don't have to get into like your own personal things, but like, was that your form of counseling? I don't know if you ever seen a counselor or anything, but was that your form of counseling after you're going through all this traumatic stuff, was to get in the gym and kind of?
Yeah, pretty much. So I've done, I've seen a couple counselors. I've done the peer support type things and everything like that. But really, it's cool and everything, but I don't know. Some of the people that I've talked to have never been through the things that I've been through.
Yeah.
Some have
like
been
counselors, you mean?
Oh yeah. Like counselors, and even some of the peer support people, like they might have been involved in like a traumatic incident to them. Because it's different for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
But with me or whatever, it's like I'll still be driving downtown or whatever, and I'll expect bullets to start flying through the car. Stuff like, what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Like stuff always kind of comes back to me. So fitness by far has been better than any counselor I've ever been to. And there's some good ones out there.
You seem like a mentally strong person, and I think like for me and for like what we're trying to do, that what you just said is like they haven't been through the things that I've been through. And like, that's a big part of 1078 is making sure we get people that, like, I just interviewed Annette Jansen last week, and I don't know if you know her story, but it's absolutely insane. Okay. Obviously, her husband died in the line of duty, but it goes way deeper than that. Okay. Like, that woman's been through some things, and like, I didn't know half the stuff whenever I talked to her. Right. But like, that's the type of person that I could like, okay, that person's been through some things. They've been through some traumatic. I can relate to you on a whole nother level.
100%.
Like, Craig Polite is another counselor that we work with. Worked at St. Louis County, got in an officer-involved shooting, got shot in the line of duty. Like, so, like, to me, I think that's like one of the biggest things is that's a prime example. It's like, I can't relate to this person. I can't get on their level. I can't talk to them about the things that I want to talk to them because I'm traumatizing them. Right. Like the things that I'm telling them are like,
I got you. You feel like you're trauma dumping on.
I'm making it worse for this person. Right. So that was like a big thing for us, is to make sure we had like law enforcement competent counselors, like people that understood the culture in law enforcement, but also had a little bit of baggage on their own, you know? So like, a guy like you've been through so many different traumatic events, you like go in there, at least the person has somewhat of an understanding of who you are as a person, the things that you've been through. Because that's like a really common reaction. You said you did peer support stuff, like peer support groups or?
Peer support where, different agencies, stuff like that have a peer support group or whatever, like people who will go around and after an officer-involved shooting or traumatic incident, it'll be like 2 or 3 people that come in and it's like, hey, open forum, tell us about your feelings, and or they'll tell about their experiences and stuff like that. And but yeah, I've done that. I've done the like I said, the psychologist, wherever you go in, and he starts talking to you about baseball or something like that, and he'll be like, well, how'd it feel getting hit by that car? Just out of nowhere, it just turns quick. But
I went to the same guy, by the way. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So, but I mean, I thought, I would say, people that have been involved with me with the incidents or whatever, maybe talking with them has helped me more than actually talking to, counselors and stuff, and just kind of being able to work it out on my own ways. And that's why I'm just huge in the gym. But my faith plays a big part in it, man. Being honest, like if I didn't have my faith and, just knowing that God has me and everything's going to be all right, I probably wouldn't be as mentally strong as I am right now. But I just have this, overwhelming feeling that, everything's part of God's plan.
I love it, dude.
I'm here where I'm supposed to be at this moment. Everything that I've gone through is preparing me for the next step in life.
Dude, you're speaking my story. That's like 100% everything. That I can't remember who I was talking to. It was in this podcast forum, and I really don't know how people do this job without God. Like I have no idea how you can, and like you've been through traumatic things. I've been through traumatic things. Like more than the average trauma,
Absolutely.
But still, like going to the suicides, going to all the dead bodies you have to see, and dealing with house fires, people losing everything, and bad car accidents, and death in general. And like guys, just like the things I don't understand, man, I put it on God, dude. I have a conversation with God and kind of surrender all that to Him, and like without Him, dude, without God, I don't know.
I got to the point where I
truly don't know.
Absolutely, and I agree, and not to cut you off, but yeah, when you talk about seeing the dead bodies and everything like that, I almost became numb to some of them. But then, one thing that really bothered me was seeing kids.
Oh yeah,
like
dude, for sure.
Kids of abused, or when kids were killed and stuff like that. That like always just got me, and those were the ones that I would have a rough time with. Yeah, I really would, But yeah, man, like if it weren't for God, then I don't know if I'd been able to handle a lot of that stuff. But I mean, and you see, police officers nowadays quitting, or alcoholism, substance abuse, just finding other ways of dealing with it that aren't healthy. And those, and now more often, whenever if I'm kind of seeing that, or people, I'm to the point now where how hard it is for veterans or first responders or police to ask for help. I'm to the point now to where people are like, hey, Will, this guy's having a rough time. Maybe look out for them, or maybe you could hit them up or do this, whatever. And that was, always the goal. Because initially, you'd be like, hey, man, you want a membership? Oh, I'm good. Give it to the next guy. Or, somebody else needs it more than me, or, just weren't too accepting of it.
I think those are the exact words of the dude I sent you.
Yeah. Which is fine, man. And if someone doesn't want to take me up on a membership, maybe, they'll see how another service helps somebody else and be like, okay, well, maybe I'll try that, whatever. So it's like, I offer different things, and pretty much anything that can help out physically, mentally, I'm down for. I mean, I've sent people to chiropractic visits and covered that. Like I said before, blood work, just, whatever, man. I'm just trying to spread it out as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just give back in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude, I love it, man. Like it was relieving to me to find like somebody else that was like, we do different things, but we do the same thing at the same time. Right. Like our goal was to try and like be there immediately, and but we have like such similar views, like as people, but also like as organizations of like making sure we're like, my goal was to address mind, body, spirit, like the three things. Give them information about God, give them information about counseling and EMDR and how to get in PCIS and all the other things. And then the last thing is get them in the gym. You know what I mean? Get them in the gym, get them working out, get their hormones and chemicals in your brain right. Because they're not right after you go through a critical incident. Everything's all whacked out. So get them back in the gym, get those dopamine levels hitting.
Absolutely.
And get them working. So, dude, I love what you're doing. I couldn't be more thankful to have the ability to work with you to a certain extent. So
absolutely.
I know you got places to go and things to do. I just really wanted to have you on here. We'll be inspired for everybody to know about We'll Be Inspired, and we'll shout you out and continue to work together. And it'd be cool if maybe we can partner up together to send some people out to Colorado maybe next year.
100%. Yep, 100%. And I'm looking at doing maybe some some other things out that way. I'm going to do some other events around here, like a Top Golf and everything. I'm going to have I'm going to announce my golf tournament probably later on this week or next week and everything. But yeah, I mean, I'm always open for partnering and things like that. And to your note on on the physicality and helping people and stuff like that, I don't know if it was an interview I was watching. It might have been Andrew Tate or something like that, where he has a guy that emails him and said, hey, I'm going to kill myself just randomly out of the blue. Yeah. He's like, okay, well, before you do that, get a six-pack or whatever. And he said the dude's like, okay. So the dude ended up starting working out every day or whatever, ended up getting a six-pack. He's like, hey, I don't want to kill myself anymore. And it was just, the working out. And, he probably got him out of that mindset. And who knows if the dude was really going to. But, I mean, I've just seen, physical fitness and exercise change so many people's lives. And, I just wish people would consider that before they would consider like the prescription drugs. Or,
dude, invest in yourself.
The alcohol and things like that.
Listen, dude, if you got time to be that big, run a nonprofit, do what you're doing, for a job. If you got time to do all of those things, you got 30 minutes in the gym, dude. If it's your first day, go walk on the treadmill. Get to the gym, force yourself to do something difficult every day. That mental resilience comes through forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Get in. I've seen, Joe Rogan says the same thing. Like, somebody's like, well, not everybody can work out. He's like, everybody can work out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Everybody can work out. 100%. Even if you have to go walk mailboxes. Like, I'm going to walk to my neighbor's mailbox and I'm going to walk back.
Right. Let me ask you, what do you, like, with you being new to the whole nonprofit game, what do you feel has been your biggest struggle so far?
Just exposure, man. It's hard to get exposure.
It is, yeah.
And it's hard to it's hard to gain trust of like corporations and stuff like that. It's like I'm asking people to give me their hard-earned money, and it's hard I get it. You know what I mean? Like if I were in their shoes, I would feel the exact same way. So really, it's just exposure, and then funding to do the things that I really want to do, because I got big dreams, dude. We're sending guys all over the country next year. Well, I guess it's now this year, but we're sending guys down to Florida for fishing trips. We're sending guys out to Mark Twain Lake for fishing trips. And then we're trying to set up like a really big, like once in a lifetime hunt with American Heroes Hunt. So like those, I have big aspirations and big dreams, and also I'm the type of person that when I have my mindset on something, I'm gonna run through the wall to make it happen. So
absolutely.
It's just been, those have been my big things, like calming myself down of like, hey man, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Right. No. Yeah. I mean,
slow down.
Everybody starts somewhere.
Time.
I mean, I'll look on social media and stuff like that, and I'll see some of these other organizations getting $1 million checks and stuff like that. Dude. And I'm like, man,
I have to fight my ego every time. I have like, I deserve that, man. Like, it's like,
right, yeah.
But kudos to them, dude.
Oh yeah,
kudos to them.
Been around, putting in the work, and been there for family after family, and like these big organizations, they didn't happen overnight. They started out by helping one family, then the next, and the next, and people, it's like, okay, this is a trusted organization, and they're about what they say they're about. Because, to be honest, there's a lot of nonprofits out here scamming people, and that's what and that's what people will see or whatever. It's like, okay, why has this person got $1 million houses and stuff like that when they're supposed to be, this money's supposed to be going to good or whatever. So that was my other thing too with mine. It's like, I don't want to be like, I want people to be, I'm pretty transparent with it, and that's why I post like, this is membership, this, and this money's going towards this, so everybody can kind of see where the money's going to, and see immediately, that they've made an impact on somebody else's life. Yeah,
like a mutual person, Ashley from A&N Skin, dude. Mm-hmm. She's bomb.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I sat down with her. She helped us out. Mm-hmm. She donated to the nonprofit. Yeah. And so there's people out there that want to help, man.
She's been a part of my golf tournament. She's donated in other ways, but no, she's a great person, big heart. Yeah.
Legit.
Ashley's great people.
But yeah, that's like I completely understand your feelings, man. I see like other organizations, like we just got a $175,000 check. I'm like, I'm asking for like 10 grand, man. If I could get 10 grand, I could do all the things I want to do this year.
Yeah. Do you have what events have you thought about?
So we're gonna do a trivia night.
Okay.
I just started planning that. So there's been a lot of organizations that have stepped up to, donate baskets or donate drinks or venues and stuff like that. So, and that's part of it too, has just been like learning the process of how to make people feel comfortable giving.
Have you looked into grants or grant writers?
Yeah. I'm trying to stay away from grants because there's so many stipulations that they put on them.
Gotcha.
And I don't want to be. I want to be able to do what our organization wants to do without, so.
100%. No, I get that 100%. Like we've been operating without any grants at all, whatever. It's just all been donations, and I sell the T-shirts and clothing, and in between the big events and everything, and you'll get your people who really believe in your mission and start really just backing you or whatever, and that's that's what really, because there's probably 3-4 companies or whatever that if it weren't for them, like we wouldn't be rolling like we are.
Yeah.
But yeah, some really great people out there.
It's just building those connections and
Yeah.
You said 2021 is when you started. Yep. Well, I've been operating for 8 months. Yeah. So I'm still in the very beginning stages. And
the more you put yourself out there, it's like you'll see a lot of people, they want to give and they want to help out. They just don't know what to give to or help to. So when you have a comment, because everybody could wants to, not everybody, but there are a lot of people that still back the blue and everything like that, and know what these guys have to go through, and a lot of people know that they're not built for that or whatever. So if we want to keep cops and people sane and everything like that, we need to show them, we care about them and care about their mental health and their well-being as well. So we still have police in the future.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah. And you see it right now. It's like our society is kind of paying for that.
Yep.
Police departments are understaffed, and
right.
I don't know, St. Louis City, call them and try and report something stolen out of your car.
Yep.
See how long it takes for a cop to get there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because I truly try not to get political at all, because I don't care about any of that. Like, I don't want my organization to be affiliated with that political stuff. But it's the choices of that community, man.
Yeah.
They've made it very difficult to be a police officer there. And the amount of dudes leaving there is insane. The police department that I work for, I don't know, we probably hired like 6 St. Louis County guys St. Louis City guys in the last.
Well, I mean, I still see the pictures of the uniforms stacked up at the city and everything like that. And, you know, some of it's the, the area has always been the area, you know, and the crime's always been the crime and stuff like that. But you used to have people above you that would back you and stuff like that and would, you know, want to see. But, you know, when you start putting officers' feet to the fire and, you know, you don't have their backs and, you know, you don't want to prosecute certain crimes and things like that. And, you know, it's almost like, you know, what am I risking my life for? You know, if, you know, this guy just killed somebody and we got camera footage, we got this, we got that, everything needed to put this person away. And no, never mind. And like, what's the point? So
it's insane, man.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. And hopefully, I mean, it seems like things might be turning around in the city, and I'm hoping
I hope so.
The pendulum swings back the other way with a lot of this stuff. But
yeah, well, the craziest thing is if you look at the statistics of like what cops are stressed out the most about and what causes them to have like issues, it's administrations.
Yeah.
It's like the number one thing is administrations. You know,
absolutely.
It's an internal problem, obviously, but I feel like a lot of it has to do with just the way that society views policing right now.
Oh yeah,
you know,
and there's a lot of people making decisions for police that have never been to police and never had to experience what, you know, the police have had to experience. I don't know if you've seen or whatever, but there was a reporter who was always bashing police and police tactics and everything like that. And I think one department was like, "Hey, why don't you come do a shoot scenario with us or whatever?" So they had him do a shooting scenario, you know, the VR type stuff, and then the dude would just shoot or whatever. It's like, "Well, why did you shoot that person? He was coming at me." He's like, "Oh, no. You can't do that." And, you know, then the guy was like, "You know what?" You know, kind of apologized and was like, "You know what? I really didn't understand what it was like to be a police officer until now." Because, you know, everybody wants a Monday morning quarterback and, you know,
it's easy to Monday morning quarterback when you're not under stress.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
And bullets start flying at you. It changes the dynamic significantly.
A split second to make a decision. It's like a lot of people don't realize what they're asking of others. But,
it's not an easy job, man. If it was an easy job, everybody'd do it.
Absolutely, 100%.
You know, it's not an easy job. It's a difficult job. And, you know, the vast majority of people are out there doing a really good job.
Yeah,
there are some guys that are out there doing a not so good job, or
just like with everything else.
There's bad plumbers, there's bad doctors, there's bad cops.
100%. You know? But at the end of the day, and that's what I always say, is like you have to have police. It's like, and if you don't have enough people wanting to be the police, then unfortunately you're going to get bottom of the barrel guys somewhere. And it's like, it's unfortunate, but it is, you know, some people are just looking at staff cops or whatever, and you got so many people talking about what police should do and everything, and every once in a while I'll put up an application for a department and be like, "Hey, apply here," you know, you know, help out, be the change that you wish to see, and take action. That's my big thing. It's like, you know, don't talk about it, be about it. Yeah. So.
All right, brother. Well, we're running up on the allotted time you gave me, so I just want to say thanks. Thanks for all your help, and then I look forward to working together. And,
absolutely.
And, you know, we'll take action.
Absolutely. Let's get it.
All right, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for hanging in there, guys. I appreciate you guys' support. I appreciate you guys listening to the episode all the way through. Like I said, the 1078 project has had a little bit of difficulties getting notified of officers that have been involved in officer-involved shootings. So if you are aware of an officer, feel free to go to 1078project.com. You'll see on our website there's a space where you can refer officers. Just fill out all the necessary information. We just ask that you give us a little bit of information about the officer, maybe the police department he works at, if he's married, how many kids he has, just so we can design the box to the best of our ability to make sure we're supporting that officer and his or her family as well as possible. Again, guys, thanks for the support. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, like, share the podcast, and until next time, hang in there, boys. The 1078 Project podcast is proudly sponsored by Deemed Fit. Deemed Fit is an activewear and a leisure company created for first responders. Be a part of their movement to instill confidence, motivation, and a willingness to keep pushing forward. Deemed Fit is a first responder-owned company looking to help first responders and their friends stay as physically and mentally fit as possible. Stay deemed fit.